Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Mr. Octagonal here from Octagonal Gaming. Now, we will be recapping day one of the 2017 NBA free agency. I'm going to be giving grades based on the teams, like how the teams did. Now, I only have 8 because there wasn't too much for the first day. If you guys want me to do more of these, like for the next few days, make sure to drop a like button and subscribe. I will be away the next few days, which does kind of suck, but I'm still going to grind it. I'm going to still give you guys some videos. I'm still going to be making free agency videos. I'm going to try to make other videos, and I still have like other gaming videos to upload. I won't be able to make any video. I'm not bringing my PlayStation, so I can't bring it. So I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make any live streams. It's gonna be a lot of Super Mario 3D World or Pacers My League or Chicago White Sox franchise. Just expect a lot of those free things because I have a lot of those episodes saved. But without further ado, let's get right into it. In my free agency prediction video, which I uploaded yesterday morning, assuming I upload this Sunday morning, I had Blake Griffin going to the Celtics. However, Blake Griffin already signed with the Clippers. So I did know that. I talked a little about it. And what the hell on planet Earth are the Clippers doing? So Blake Griffin's a great player. He's going to get a lot of money. But let's go for the timeline. So they trade Chris Paul for basically nothing. Let's start a rebuild, right? Is that what they're thinking? Well, they sign Blake Griffin and they give him a no-trade clause. Can you explain that? They should be going for a rebuild, not giving Chris Paul away for nothing, but still not doing a rebuild. That makes no sense whatsoever. They should have let Blake go, or at least do a sign and trade, and then trade DeAndre. That makes no sense. I give the Clippers an F. That was very easy. On to the next one. So the next one is Patty Mills has re-signed with the San Antonio Spurs on a 4-year, $50 million deal. I really like Patty Mills. I feel like he's one of the most underrated and better backups in the NBA for sure. The Spurs have a lot of point guard depth with Tony Parker, DeJounte Murray, and Patty Mills. I do think they should trade Tony Parker. I'm not saying Tony Parker's a bad player. He's definitely one of the greatest Spurs of all time. Definitely a Hall of Famer. Definitely a Spurs legend. Don't get me wrong. However, for right now, they should trade him because DeJounte Murray is 20 years old. He had a very solid rookie year. And they have their backup with Patty Mills. I'm going to give it a B. I think it's a little high of a contract, but I do think the Spurs are getting an excellent backup, so it's not too bad. It hasn't been a great 24 hours for Pacers fans, has it? Now, I called this one of my free agency predictions. I had Jeff Teague going to the Timberwolves. Boom, boom, boom. Now, the Timberwolves are stacked. Let's look at their starting lineup. Point guard, Jeff Teague. Shooting guard, Jimmy Butler. Small forward, Andrew Wiggins. Power forward, probably Gorgie Dieng, and center Karl-Anthony Towns. That's a very good team. That could honestly be the second or third seed in the Eastern Conference. Assuming the Cavs would be the number 1 seed even though they weren't this year. Because, I don't know why. I mean, they obviously made the championship. I'm going to give it a B-. I think Jeff Teague is a very solid player. But in 3 years from now, I don't think he's going to be as good. And he's still going to be making $20 million, which I do think will hurt this young and talented team. But for this year, probably next year, it's a very good signing. If he stays good, then that B- will be a B+. So the next one is somewhat obvious. I mean, Stephen Curry re-signed with the Golden State Warriors, which was expected, for a 5-year, wait for it, $201 million contract. So these teams are heading out silly money. I'm not saying Stephen Curry sucks. Stephen Curry is a 2-time MVP. I hate the Warriors, but I really like Stephen Curry. I mean, I hate Kevin Durant. The Warriors, this isn't their only move. They did bring back Sean Livingston to a 3-year deal worth $24 million, and David Lee to a 1-year deal for the minimum. The Warriors grade, I give them an A+. I don't know how good Curry's going to be in 5 years. But, I mean, they brought back Curry. Durant has said that he's going to re-sign in 2 months, when all the free agency stuff, calms down. Which I guess is fine, but, I mean, he's going to, unfortunately, go back to the Warriors, which kind of sucks. The Pelicans had one job this offseason. That was to retain Jrue Holiday. And that's exactly what they did to a 5-year, $126 million deal, which can be up to $150 million. Which, if that was last year's contract, that would be tied for Mike Conley for the biggest contract in NBA history. Obviously, now that belongs to Stephen Curry with his $200 million deal, But for the Pelicans, I do give them a B. In 5 years from now, Jrue Holiday might not be that good, which is why I give these teams lower grades, like the Clippers and the Warriors, even like if the Warriors an A+, and the Timberwolves, which is the main factor in this. The Pelicans, they just got DeMarcus Cousins, and they're not trying to tank. They're a pretty solid team. They have the two best big men in the NBA, and Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins. Anthony Davis got a new deal last offseason. DeMarcus is a free agent next offseason. So as long as they can bring back Cousins, and they have their big three with two All-Stars and an above-average point guard, which this is a point guard league, so Jrue Holiday is a very solid, underrated player. Probably top 50, maybe even top 40, top 30 player in the league. No higher than top, I would say 35-ish. But on to the next one. I gave him a B. The next three players definitely aren't superstars by any means, and the first one is Nene. Now, I'm very confused by Nene's contract because there are some issues, like with the new CBA rule, like you can't be on a 4-year deal or higher if you're like 38 years old or older. And the fourth year of his contract would be when he's 38. He's probably like 34, 35 now. So I'm very confused. I don't know if his contract is 3 years for 10 mil or 4 years for 15 mil. I'm very confused by it, but it's one of those. He's making about $3.5 million a year, which isn't too much money. So I'm going to give the Rockets a B. He's a very good, solid role player off the bench, and he's a good veteran player, I guess. I don't know if he's a leader or not. I don't pay attention to the Rockets locker room situation. If this guy signed with any other team, I would not put him in this video. But Langston Galloway decided to sign with my Detroit Pistons. Now, the Pistons signed him to a 3-year, $21 million deal, which is like identical to Boban's deal, which the only difference between Langston Galloway and Boban is Boban's an MVP candidate and Langston Galloway is a role player. Which I think that's a bit high for Langston Galloway, considering the Pistons do have some bad contracts. Reggie Jackson's making like $17 million a year. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, if we match his deal, he's going to be making near $20 million a year. Tobias Harris is on like a $15 million deal. John Lure's making $10 million a year. Not that Boban's a bad contract. I mean, Boban's like an all-star player. He's making $7 million. Drummond's making like $22 million. And now Galloway's making $7 million. So the Pistons have a lot of bad contracts. And I already like our point guard depth. We have Reggie Jackson, who I think we should trade. We have Ish Smith, who I really like, who's on like a very similar deal to Langston Galloway, like around that area. He's probably making like $6 million a year. And Breno Udrih, who's probably going to leave in the offseason, so I don't really care. But I do like Ish Smith, and if we keep Reggie Jackson then and have Ish Smith, and there's not too much of a purpose for Langston Galloway, I only give the Pistons a C+. Another player I got right in my free agency predictions was J.J. Redick. I had him going to the 76ers. He said he didn't want to stay with the Clippers, and I mean he didn't. This is perfect for the 76ers and perfect for J.J. Redick. 1 year, $23 million. Now, $23 million is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Stephen Curry's going to be making like $40 million a year, but I mean, a 5-year deal worth $23 million, that's around like $115 million. J.J. Redick is not an $100 million player. At most, he's like a $15 million player. I saw something that J.J. Redick this season will make like more than like a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. So, yeah, J.J. Redick is not a top 5 shooting guard in the league by any means. He's probably going to start because the Sixers could use some shooting guards. They cut Gerald Henderson. They're probably going to cut Nick Stauskas, who stinks. They have Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot, who I like, but I mean, he's not ready to start yet. The Sixers need a shooter. They have a very good shooter in J.J. Redick, who's one of the league's best. And they only signed him for 1 year. He's not the youngest, and they only have him for 1 year. If he stinks, they let him go. If they like him, they might sign him again for less money. For the grade from this signing for the 76ers is an A. The Jazz, Celtics, and Heat are in a tight race to bring in Gordon Hayward. The Jazz, I mean, they already had Gordon Hayward, so they'd like to bring Gordon Hayward back. This could help their chances as they bring back backup small forward Joe Ingles to a 4-year, $52 million contract. Joe Ingles could start on some other team, like not like a team with a good small forward, kind of like maybe the Nets. Not saying Ron Hollis Jefferson sucks, but he could probably start on the Nets. But if they don't bring back Gordon Hayward, he would probably start I'm going to give this move a C+. I think it's a little high for Joe Ingles, but he's a very, 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 very good backup. And this could help him bring Gordon Hayward back, but this also gives him less money to bring Gordon Hayward back. But I'm going to give him a C+. The last signing is Andre Iguodala, who was not supposed to return to the Warriors. He wasn't even supposed to meet with them. The Spurs were going to offer him something, the Rockets, the Sixers, a few other teams as well. But he surprisingly re-signed with the Golden State Warriors, which most people didn't expect. He went with a 3-year, $48 million deal. Now, personally, I think they should have dealt with the 76ers, deal with J.J. Redick, because Andre Iguodala, what is he, 32, 33? If he was 6 years younger, this would be an excellent deal. I'm going to give the Warriors a C+ as well. This shouldn't have to worry about re-signing Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant's already said he's going to re-sign, so, I mean, that's kind of obvious. They have Kevin Durant back. They have Iggy back. They have Sean Livingston back. They have David West back. I almost said David Lee. But they have David West back. Not that they really need David West. But Iggy's a very quality backup, just like Joe Ingles, and he could start on a team like the Nets. Iggy was in the running for Sixth Man of the Year with two Rockets, Lou Williams and Eric Gordon. Obviously, Williams isn't on the Rockets anymore. But, yeah, obviously that means he's one of the best backups. He won a Finals MVP for the Warriors. But 16 mil is a bit high.